Hey, good morning, beautiful beings. How are you? Hope all's well in your world. And I know that some of you are already dipping into your afternoon. So, um, hope that all is going well so far. So, we're doing a lot of practicing. We've got a lot of what I call spiritual hacks, and we're having to use them now, aren't we? I hope that some of you are having a sublimely beautiful, gorgeous summer, but there's a lot of there's a lot of challenge out there now, and I sense that the challenge has to do with the thinning of the veils, so to speak, by a number of energy workers and star beings, and however you consider yourself in your purposeful existence here on the planet at this time. So we're really practicing about getting into the now. And there's just so many things that just tug at us. And some of them are kind of big, and some of them are just nitpicky little things. And so we have to get on a surfboard and we have to navigate. Um, I'm going to I'm going to have to correct myself about something. I had a chat with my brother, and he said, 'cause I had mentioned the word sine wave. He goes, "Well, Val, sine waves aren't flowy." He goes, "They go up, they go down. They have to do with uh, synthesizers and things like that." And I go, "Okay," so I stand corrected. So we're gonna rename these waves. We're gonna kind of put a more physics oriented name to them of these waveforms that are actually manifesting this reality. And even as I look around, and I'm sure you do too, you go, I don't know what we're talking about here because everything looks pretty dang solid. And it has, you know, for quite some time here. Yeah. And even the physicists are really going, it's because our brains are registering probability waves. So everything that you see is a probability wave sashaying through our 3D entanglements and challenges and lessons. And, we're just going, and I really sense that this is the time of awakening into your form of enlightenment. And I don't have enough experience to say everybody's going to have the same moment of enlightenment or the same experience of it. But I do know that you are here on that journey and on that path, and that it is available to us now. And that's why we're practicing living in it. So, as I said here, practice makes perfect. So, we're living in the now as probability waves, right? And we're registering one aspect of the multiverse, but there's many manifestations of that multiverse. And the now offers us connection to it all. Now it offers us a connection. I imagine if it was, and I think one of my teachers said to me, if you tried to clear everything, every aspect of 3D all at one moment, if it all came to you and you had to deal with all of it, you could go crazy. And that has happened to some people. I mean, even the great Amma, who's the hugging guru, um, yeah, she spent, I don't know how long on the streets feeling crazy. She just was in this altered state, just going through everything. And, in India, they just watched her. Even her family just watched her. But it's at age 14. But she came out the other side as this awakened being who could really walk her talk and hug her love. and get in and shovel dirt. I respect that woman quite a bit. So the now offers us connection to it all. And here's what's included: the illusion of the past. So you say, well, no, no, I know my past. My past is solid. It happened. This happened to me. And what I'm gonna say to you is yes, and it's still a wavery waveform. You can travel back to the past and change it. And I know this to be true because even as a young person, I'm in, say, my 20s, there's some things that I did. I went back into my past and I changed, I rewrote it. First, I tracked it. And then now, okay, let's say there was that thing that happened and I forgave it. But in a couple of circumstances, I went and rewrote it. I rewrote and went on that multiverse version of it. And that multiverse version of it, that possibility wave, because I put so much into it, worked its way to this probability wave that I'm manifesting as me now, and reality changed in a very synchronistic way. So we have this possibility of influencing, being influencers on the quantum of the past and allowing that to work through. Now, there's a whole thing on time travel, where if you really actually get back there and then there you are looking at, there you are, that it will really mess things up. And there's a possibility that there's been some deep experimentation about this, possibly, maybe even by our government. Um, I've run into information about it. I don't know if it's true or not. I wasn't there. And there's some, ramifications, but we can travel on 5D, and as 5D beings filter into that probability of that 3D experience and rewrite it and let that filter back to now to change our probable outcome of today. In another way, we can also project into the future and have influence of that. We can travel there, and we do it all the time. You go, well, later I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to, buy these 5 things at the grocery store. And then I'm going to, we plan our future all the time. But then, you get a phone call and there's an emergency, you have to go take care of that. You don't go to the store. So there's all these ways that we're projecting into the future. Sometimes we're allowing the past to weigh us, to pull us down. And I'm going to empower you as a 5D quantum mind to embrace this quantum moment and know that you have some power of influence over these matters. So in addition to it all, we have this moment. And in this moment, when we really gather together, we can shift out of 3D ego, fear, anger, la, 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 to this moment and just observe it and watch it and observe it. And when we are able to do that, even for a moment, just the sliver of our aha of enlightenment finds its way through. So, as I've said, they all coexist in this now as probability waves. And, we've talked about this phenomena in physics where they shot beams through these slits and through these holes, and they just came out very, very differently than they expected. And they realized that light isn't just a beam, it's a wave. And that everything that manifests really is a wave that when it's observed, it becomes a probability or a particle. And then we also know that, and remind ourselves, which is so hard still, to pick up anything and go, this is 99% space. How could that be? No, but it's solid. No, but it's space. So these probability waves can be influenced by possibility waves that coexist in our multiverse, forward and backward. And so I just want to empower you with that today and know that nothing's written in stone. And yes, sometimes we have to take the time, like, gosh, I've had two friends, I mean, so many of my friends are really going through their big 3D challenges now. It's something. And one friend, I said, okay, you have to go do a journey and you have to go into you know how to do this. You can go into the possibility of the multiverse. And I go, 3 multiverses over, there's something there. And you have to go resolve it because of that thing that happened. And she goes, okay, I'll go do it. This is how we're talking to each other now. So empowering you as a possibility to deal with your possibility waves. And we have to say every time you make a choice, you change your reality, don't you? And you have you have influence on what is and will unfold. You can change the past in an interesting way by employing observation without attachment. So you go and you become the observer. Maybe you're floating in the air. Maybe you're there in the room through your imagination, but you're going a step beyond imagination because you're really empowering yourself as a now quantum mind influence. So observation without attachment. And you're seeing, say, your 10-year-old, and you're seeing that young person next to you say something to you that makes you feel contracted and less than. And you pause and you go, this is the person I want to really like me because I'm 10, I want this person. And so you go, this person may not be the best person for you right now. So maybe you need to disentangle from this person. And we've talked about disentanglement. And so you pull the threads out. And then you go, yeah, and back then I was really sad and I felt less than. Okay, so let's resolve that. Let's resolve that. And there's a number of ways to do it. And just say, um, it's okay to cry. And hold that 3D self. Or you say, you know what? See those other kids over there? I know that they really like you. Why don't you go over and play with them? And then you do that. So you can just go rework the path in an imaginal and creative way and really come up with some deep resolution. And then through all of this, you supplant some intentionality with a positive emotional frequency. And what I mean by that is, hey, let's turn you on to some joy here. Let's turn you on to some joy. Or you can even insert an I am. I am joy and I am love. And then you have your 10-year-old go be love with that group of people over there. And let this other being who perhaps you've disentangled from, maybe she just goes, oh my gosh, oh, and has a realization and becomes your best friend, 20 years later. It could happen. It could. So I want to just show you, this is a little physics model of these possibility waves. And one might even say that there's an element of probability to them. And you can see here the entanglement and that things are, they're moving in different directions. And so we're really quite the big quantum influencers, aren't we, when we do our work here? And so when you journey to the past entanglement, you disentangle from all the players and you just go, I give this all back to you. I pull it out and I give it all back to you. And with love, we all were doing the best we could. You might have said that mean thing to me today because your mama said something mean to you, or your brother was mean to you, or you were having a bad day. Who knows? But we resolve with love and we empower with intention and positive projection. And then we return to now as the 5D self. So I think what we're going to do here is I'm going to have all of us take a moment to pick anything out of the past. It could be something that happened 3 days ago. It could be happened something as a young person or, any point in your life. And we're just going to do a little process here. And it's going to be very, we're not going to do a deep shamanic journey on this, even though that's a very cool thing to do, with some some kind of music that's entrancing or a beat. That's the way I love to journey. Okay, so I want you to just close your eyes. And I want you to find yourself back in that situation and actually view yourself and whoever else is in the room or the space. Or are you by yourself? But view, allow yourself to become part of the experience. Then note the entanglement. Note as the observer, note how you are entangled with the whatever. And begin just to harmonize with and gently pull those entanglements out. Just harmonize with them and go, oh yeah, there's one, there's one. And some words are approval, survival, desire, competition, epigenetic influences, overwhelm. Just look at all those possibilities. Now, in the quantum, collectively, we disentangle. We're helping each other out here. And then begin to insert some love into this scenario. First, love for yourself. Just say, God, I know you always do the best you can. Otherwise, you would do better. And you can even extend that love to all of the components of this scenario. And then empower with intention yourself first, others if you feel like it. Mhm. And then a positive projection. Redream it. And then collectively, let's all move back to the now. And bless that moment in your life. Just bless it for whatever lesson you can extract from it. If only that you are a quantum traveler. And then love, 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 love. Beautiful. And allow that possibility wave to filter through to the now. And affirm, I am love. I am now. Mm, okay. Very nice. It's nice for us to do it collectively because each one of us is kind of as we do it collectively, we're kind of helping each other. Okay. Well, what about the future? Turns out the quantum mind is prescient, meaning seeing, sees things before it's going to happen, knows things before it's going to happen, and can positively see and influence choice and action now simultaneously. So if I'm actually able to turn the dial and be 5D now and hold that, and there's an action that needs to be taken, that action can feed into me. I notice it from the right into my right brain. But there's a sense of pausing and turning the dial and knowing the knowing. I like that. Knowing the knowing. And it's almost as if it's not just here, it's in the body. And it's that thing where sometimes you're going to do something and all of a sudden you get this hit, no, and you do something else. And then you see, oh my God, I'm so glad I did that. I just avoided, getting hit by something, we'll say. And so beginning to acclimate to that possibility of being prescient about things, meaning that you empower yourself as a maybe, that is so for you now. Well, yeah. Okay, so we're saying here that as I shift more and more into 5D and into quantum mind, that I can get that little hit. I have that feeling about something and perhaps an action that I need to take in this probability wave. What if you knew you could see the next series of moments enough to be guided in your choices now? Well, you can. So you get that, you just get that. It's this constant practice where you go in instead of going unconscious out here or going into some kind of reactive format, you stop and it's as if you're allowing your vision the possibility of the moment of having that come up on the screen. And it's an inner seeing. And it just takes practice. Y'all can do it. It just takes practice. And it's the click of that dial to that all seeing 5D now quantum mind. And then you can just say, okay, or, now what? And let it filter through. And sometimes it's an impulse for action. Now what may not even be a thought, it's an impulse for action. And do it. When you get the impulse, do it. So if you get a feeling that is a yes or no, pay attention. And when it works out, say thank you, 5D self. Very happy that you guided me in this moment to be and see. So your 5D seer's mind right here, right now is just a click away, right? So you might even want to put a little reminder on the refrigerator for yourself or on the bathroom mirror, you know, dial it. And let that 5D quantum mind go big. Let it go big into all the stratospheres of possibility. And what happens there is if you really focus on one, it's more likely to become a probability wave. So, if you're stuck in 3D, ego, self, poor me, or ego fear, ego bruise, or ego burst, you may not be allowing yourself the possibility wave of prescience or to see what is. So you have to kind of get out of your own way. You can't ever say, I could never do that. You don't say that. You go, maybe. The strongest word you use is maybe. And there's someone in my life right now that, has a tendency to be like this. And I go, I'm just going to give you one word and just humor me on this. Maybe. And he's throwing some maybes in and things are manifesting. as possibility waves. And I, I think it's I think it's cute, when we can just relax and let ourselves have maybes and possibilities and probabilities and intention and manifestation. There's a sequence there that's quite lovely. So turn your dial clockwise, access your not only your 5D self, but your prescient capacity as a seer. And it's really, I'm going to give you a very 3D thing. The other day I was playing tennis, and I'm getting up there to serve. And what I do is I just turn the dial to yes, turn the dial to that. And what happens is it's almost as if my body then knows where I'm going to serve that ball for the best result. And it also makes me really present. And you got to be present on the tennis court, or you're going to lose the point. And man, if you want to see some magic, watch Wimbledon right now. God, I can't believe what some of those people do. I really can't. It's quite amazing how they, and I believe that a lot of them, they practice like crazy, but I think they have some prescience, like they know right now to turn and run all the way back to over here because they can read the energy that this is where the ball is going to go. And you know, just some, yeah, amazing, amazing human performance there. So how I do it, and I'm going to have you experiment with this, is after you shift to 5D mind, look up and to the right with silence. And you can go, and so. And then listen as a knower. So in a way, you already know the answer because you're prescient, but it has to get downloaded into now. And so I'm just giving you, great empowerment here. This is what you are. You just have to practice. And sometimes people see things and sometimes they know things. Sometimes people are both, or sometimes they hear. They hear a direction. And sometimes it's a whole movie. It's a whole movie, a lucid movie. When you do this, you will actually download more of your 5D self. And this 5D self can be your ultimate spirit guide as it sees ahead of the 3D game. But you have to listen and trust. So you might be hearing things and you go, oh, well, that was my spirit guide. It might be you, your 5D self, getting through and saying, this is what you need to do. And if you hear a sentence in your head that is positive and affirming and directive, listen to it. Now, sometimes you're going to hear things and you're going to go, that wasn't me. And you have to flick it away. And you just go, am I in protection mode here? Because things do creep in. There is an impetus now that the veils are thinning. We're thinning them. A lot of people are thinning them, and this 5D is coming through. But there's going to be last ditch efforts from the frequencies that really prefer to have things in disarray and chaos and emotional upheaval. And there's a very specific reason for that is even hard for us to understand. But we want to keep bringing ourselves back to this sentience. And as you progress in your access to 5D quantum mind, you can add intentions for flow and grace. So as you get things, you can just say, okay, I am grace. I am freedom. I am flow. And you let that seep into the quantum sphere. So those start adding in as possibility waves and adding into your probability wave of what would be most likely to manifest and then upgrade it. And that's what the IMs do. Hmm. So your 5D self is also capable of healing your 3D ego self. So once you are anchored in 5D, send unconditional love to the 3D self at any moment in the timeline. And this will allow your 3D self to quickly resolve their dilemma, your dilemma, that dilemma, the 3D self's dilemma. Mhm. So, as you're doing this, things are going to get and feel a bit strange as you disengage and disentangle from 3D. And sometimes you might even feel a little lost or like, what am I doing here? Wow, something's really shifted here and I don't get it. And then when that happens, you're like, oh yeah, I got to do gratitude. And then you look around and you just, find things to be grateful for. And if you can, you always do three at least, but if you can do 10 or more as a run of gratitude, really helps. Really helps bring it up. It really helps bring up the vibration. Also, non-attachment helps. You kind of go, okay. I just go, and I talked to a friend about this weekend who's having attachment issues to her child and grown child, and had done, out of that attachment, had done some things that kind of created some distancing between them. And so, I just go, it's all about not being attached. You think, well, that's my kid, or that's my loved one, or, that's my best friend. Well, no, love does not require attachment. I think the hardest thing for most humans to not be attached to is their pets. Because the pets pretty much, if we have them, we love them. And that's they're a guide. So yes, we're attached to certain things in our life, but really when you notice it, and it's a feeling in here, and it can cause ego actions. And so when you notice that you've done one of those, go, oh my God, yep, I was really attached to that being that way. Okay, I'm going to disengage and 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 notice. I like observing my attachment rather than just pushing it away because it'll ping pong back. I like to notice and observe it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. 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 And then at that moment where I feel that, yep, then I spiral up. And these are just putting together all the spiritual hacks that we've been able to accumulate over this last year and a half and beyond that. Over and over, you must access the 5D quantum mind. It's just practice. It's the now. It's this moment. It's the expanded self. It's the seer. It's the universal knower. It's the expander into the all without constraints. And as you do it for yourself, but you also do it for all of us. And I ran into the number again, the 144,000, 144,000 beings enlightened on this planet, there's an awakening. And it's interesting that number has been showing up in the last week. I just saw it again today somewhere. Um, Maybe it was time of day or something. But what I want to say is we're doing this in a way as a counteractive measure to what's happening on the planet that's making us all sad. It's just, it's what's being done to humans who are just beings trying to be the best they can be. It's what's being done with animals and pets and in the environment and just power plays. Well, it's time for us to be in our power. And our power is to align with the oneness and to let go of control. I release control, control releases me. I am one with the goddess, and the goddess flows as chi, and that chi is that power, that empowerment that it comes up through us. It's our kundalini. It's our it's our kundalini. It's our empowered mint. And so we're kind of working it from the 3D to let go, let God, let goddess. And we're also working it from aligning with self in the now as quantum mind. Your quantum mind will offer you access to your next expression of ascension. Okay, here's another one. You ready? You think you're not attached? What about that? Oh, yeah, I am attached to that. Right. Okay, so surrender and allow it to come through your consciousness for you again and for the good of all. It takes it's so much surrender. And I think the closer we get, the bigger the challenges. And I'm seeing it myself and a lot of people. Just when you think, hey, that's cool. I'm there. I'm done. No, as the next one comes through, and you just go, okay, can I in this moment practice it and be? And I just think of all the beings, who really have put their intent on it, the monks and things like that. And you go, well, they were in a monastery and this and that. Yeah, but a lot of times they didn't have much food. And those places aren't warm and they had to learn to heat their bodies and um, subsist on one meal a day and spend 10 hours, 18 hours a day in that state. And so, yeah, no, we're doing it. I don't know. In some ways I think we're doing it the easy way. Not that anything that we go through is easy, but gratitude, gratitude for all that we have. So let's all embrace prescient mind, excuse me. Present mind as a possibility wave becoming a probability manifestation. So I'm going to ask you all to kind of nod your head right now, like, say yes to this turn of the dial. And then spiral up. So by saying yes, it is so. And let's all add love, 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 love to you, your awakening process, our awakening collective, expanding quantum field. And let's just take a moment and turn the dial one more step to crystalline. And I want you to embrace this possibility right now that by turning the dial, You can access 60 crystalline in your home. With your quantum mind, see it as an underlay. See it as an underlay to the reality that you experience. Anchor it in your four walls. And then love, 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 love is what flows through that crystalline matrix. It anchors there. It anchors it there, here, now. Love, 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 love. All right, beautiful beings. I'm not sure what day it is. I think it might be Wednesday. We're having looks like coming into a full moon. So I will be sending out something about this. If you can join us, we would love it. I always have it at 7 p.m. I know that's late for you East Coast people. And sometimes we get a little earlier. But anyway, I offer you so much love. Um, someone's giving me a piece of chat here. Up. Oh, okay. We have a thank you from Lulu. Thank you, Lulu. Okay, we're going to namaste our way into the rest of our 5D day. And from time to time, just tune into the crystalline matrix and anchor it in your abode and and nurture it and love on it and love yourself in it. Okay. All right. You all have a beautiful, beautiful week ahead and hope to see you for the full moon.